Hey guys, this is Jesse.
It's Josh.
And we're from barnfinds.com.
We're out in the Barn Finds shop today.
We're in the barn. We're gonna attempt a video podcast this time. We did the podcast a couple times, and at least a few people listened.
Yeah, we got a few listens.
And some people asked what happened to it. We thought we'd try a video this time so we can maybe, show the screen, show things we're talking about. We'll see. Exactly. We'll see how it goes here. So we'll kind of try the same format. If you guys like this, maybe we'll do more where we walk around the shop and
we can
talk about our projects we're working on. You can see a few back there.
Yeah,
we've got the 911 right here, and there's a Beetle
over there, and then there's a cheetah go-kart over there hanging up.
There's a couple go-karts.
Parts shelf.
We got a Porsche 914 and a Triumph TR4 in here too. So some of the things we're working on. But following our podcast kind of format, let's kick things off with automotive news. There's not a whole lot of automotive news. There's been a lot of stuff going on in the world, but we won't go into all that right now. You guys can read the news or whatever you do to follow that. So we're here to talk about car stuff. So I guess the closest thing to automotive news that I've heard lately is that GM has committed to going to electric only by 2035. Had you heard about this?
I had not heard anything about this.
So they don't want to have gasoline vehicles anymore, and we won't go into all the politics of that. I try not to buy new cars, so I don't really care what they do. Mm-hmm. I'm sure some guys out there probably don't like this idea, but I'm sure we'll still have trucks with gas.
Yeah.
I guess what my first thought is, how's that going to affect us classic car lovers? Do you think they'll outlaw gasoline cars?
I don't think we'll see anything here in the United States, at least not for a very, very long time. I know there's a few big cities in Europe that have tried to outlaw all gas-powered cars within city limits. But for the most part, that's not really happened effectively with classic cars. It's been pretty much just newer stuff. So I think we're okay.
Yeah, hopefully. I've seen a lot of these things where they convert the cars to electric.
Mm-hmm. I'm okay with it.
Some cars, maybe it'd be better.
I think a Beetle would be kind of fun just because it's weird.
They do have kits.
They're light.
The Beetles, so you could do your 911 electric.
I don't know about that.
I like the smell of gasoline.
I like the sounds and the smells.
The exhaust. And I don't know, maybe we could be converted if we tried it. But
well, I was actually listening to an interview with Elon Musk where he was talking about the new Tesla Roadster that they're working on, and he's got all kinds of crazy ideas for it, but they're talking about like 1.8, 1.9 second 0 to 60 time in them. And I guess there's going to be a SpaceX model that's going to have jet propulsion in it that will use like a helium tank or hydrogen tank or something ridiculous that'll go in the back seats. The back seats will be, and the guy's kind of crazy, but he's talking about even having the cars hover for just short periods of time. So. Yeah,
when I was a kid, they said we'd be driving hover cars, but
hasn't happened.
I like a gas engine.
Mm-hmm.
I like it. I like the sounds and the smells, and so I don't think classic cars are going anywhere.
No.
We'll see though. Hopefully not. We'll keep at it until that happens. But So that's it for automotive news. Unless you had something.
That's I think
not a whole lot that I can think of that's going on in the overall car world. Lots going on here at Barn Finds though. We've been really busy. Lots of good finds lately. Lots of good tips submitted by our readers. We appreciate it, guys.
Lots of good stuff.
Instead of talking about like the top finds this last week like we normally did on the podcast, I wanted to just talk about a couple of the top finds from 2020 because we've been talking about that but haven't done that yet. We wanted to do like a top 10 list on the site so we could all review that and see which ones actually got the most traffic.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, let's look at the top three. I think Josh can bring them up. Don't do the top one though. Let's do the third one.
Oh, okay, third or fourth.
Let's
do the fourth.
So
we had a few good ones here, or odd ones, I should say.
The Impala-Mino.
Yeah,
what's the deal on this one?
This was a weird one. Someone chopped up a bubble roof Impala and made it into a pickup. a weird.
Did they know there was
custom
an El Camino in 59?
I'm guessing they didn't realize they could just buy it. It would already be done. I mean,
So what they
were going for a crazy look.
Did they piece together an El Camino and a
That's kind of
Impala,
what it's
or is that like
looking like?
Is it cut out in the back?
I think they cut out the back. I think it was an Impala they chopped open.
Oh
And,
boy!
brought the roof line up, and
It's like a shorty. It's got like short doors.
yeah. And what's crazy is that post, about 73,000 of you viewed it,
Yeah.
checked it out.
66 comments.
Yeah,
Let's
lots
go
of
down in the
discussion.
comments,
Let's see
see
here.
what
What do we got here?
Hopefully nothing bad.
Yeah, hopefully not. We'll have to blur it out if it is. Someone saw it in Texas.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, if anyone
Someone
here bought
did hate it, so
if anyone here bought it, let us know. I wonder what this one ended up selling for. Did anyone stick it down here in the comments?
Let's scroll down a little further here. We got to go back to the Johnny Cash comment here real quick. I don't see that anyone put how much it went for.
We're out in the shop too, so if you get lots of noise,
No sale at I think 5,500 from Still Runners.
Huh. Okay. Well,
I mean, if it got bid up to 55, oh, there we go.
Bidding
Guess you
in
put
at
it.
55 or $5,000, $5,005
Huh.
with reserve not met.
Interesting.
Okay, well maybe it's still floating around out there.
Yeah.
If anyone knows about it, give us an update.
Yeah.
Okay, let's go to number 3.
Yeah.
Johnny Cash's 2001 Lincoln Town Car Cartier.
Mm-hmm.
So what's the deal on this? This was built for June and Johnny Cash. That's
pretty
sweet.
cool. Pretty cool right there.
That is really cool. It was at Barrett Jackson.
Their Scottsdale auction. Let's see if it'll give us the.
This is the car sold. Wait, I think our list.
Did we have
post
it there?
said.
Oh, yeah. Final price of $16,500 plus the buyer's premium, or with the buyer's premium.
I'm a big Johnny Cash fan. I don't know if I would
I don't know if I'd want
buy
this,
that particular
of his
car.
cars. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know about that, but it's cool. It got like 74,000 or so.
Yeah, how many
views.
comments did this one get?
51.
51 comments.
A lot of discussion. That's pretty cool.
Montana wrote that one. That's a good one.
Yeah. Huh.
Lots of good comments about Johnny Cash.
Mentions of his songs, of course. You gotta love that. All right. Well, should we move on to
next number 2? Ooh, this one's sweet.
Yeah, this one is the coolest.
66 Impala SS 427 4-speed.
My personal favorite of the top
I
cars
like
from
that
last
first
year.
photo. Go back to that.
Yeah.
All dusty. Someone's excited.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully it's because of what they found and not because they just were gonna sell it, but maybe.
Well, they cleaned it up at least.
They cleaned it good. It looks nice.
I have to give them props for that because we see it sometimes where these cars come out of barns and they look like this, all dusty and forlorn, and they get listed immediately. The person doesn't even wash them off or vacuum them out. This person at least did this car justice of cleaning it. I mean, they detailed the engine bay, it looks like, and they cleaned up the interior. It's a sweet car.
Yeah, nice.
Pretty rad.
Okay, number 1. Drum roll. Let's see what it is. Oh my gosh.
Isn't that a surprise?
Well, this had like 125,000.
Yeah,
people.
125,000 people
This
viewed
one
this
was
car.
actually from November, but we let it slide because it got all this traffic in 2020.
Now let's break this down, what's happening here, because there's a lot going on. Not only is it a Beetle that's been converted to a pickup truck, take a look at the front end.
It's a Benz Beetle.
Yeah, Benz grill grafted in there. And it surprisingly looks like it lines up fairly well. I mean, it's not great, but what in the world?
Hey, this would be a nice shop truck. We could run parts, and
I don't know how much it'd haul, but it's got a hitch, so we could tow a trailer with it.
I like it. How much was it?
Let's see, $2,500.
Oh, see, that was a
asking price.
bargain.
That was a
bargain pickup.
And that wasn't even that far from us. We could have driven over to Oregon to get it.
Yeah.
Maybe.
25 comments. Scotty did good on that one.
Yeah.
So I guess let's count the Impala as the top find of 2020. and this is the runner-up. How's that?
Sounds good to me.
Sounds good. Okay.
Okay, well, let's go back to just us here. I haven't done a lot of this
we're
camera stuff here, so please
video
excuse
podcast
us.
stuff here.
It's a little different.
Well, we hope that works okay and you guys like that, so we can show things on the screen that we're talking about.
Yeah.
We can put photos, and we could walk around the shop here if we're working on a project.
Mm-hmm.
If you guys have any suggestions of things we could do or things you want to see, let's hear it.
Love feedback. It's always good to know if we're doing things right or if there's things we could do better, or if you just have ideas for things we can do, it'd be awesome. So
yeah, I mean, if we could have stuff to talk about, we'll stick with this and keep doing it.
So moving on here, talking about topics, and we've been kind of going back and forth on what we want to talk about in this week's episode, and I've been feeling strongly that we need to talk about something that we've been talking about here in the office between each other
that I've been talking about
for a long time. I mean, it's admittedly getting annoying at this point. Hopefully this gets it out of his system. So in 2012, Jesse drove from our hometown in Sheridan in a Mazda Miata and picked me up from Laramie, Wyoming at the University of Wyoming, and we drove down to Vail, Colorado to check out the Colorado Grand.
On all the back roads.
It was an amazing drive. The car had a few issues, but it was a blast nonetheless. And we saw some truly incredible cars that had been driven. I don't even know, is it?
Well, if you don't know what the Colorado Grand is, it's a 1,000-mile rally. I mean, it's not a time, speed, distance rally. It's basically a 1,000-mile drive over, I think, 4 days. Mm-hmm. And it's like high-end stuff. There's Ferraris, all kinds of stuff.
Lots of pre-60s specialty race cars.
Sports cars.
You name it.
Lots of cool stuff. So it was fun we went down right at the end just to check out all the cars.
For the car show that they have in Vail.
They have a car show right out on the street, like where all the shops and stuff are. And you can go back and look at our coverage. Yeah. We uploaded all the photos. And we geeked out for a day there, looked at cars, ate some dinner, and then drove back.
We've attended Pebble Beach several times. And I mean, that's an amazing experience. If you have never experienced Pebble, it's something you have to do. But I would say that the Colorado Grand had a bigger impact on like what we enjoy in terms of classic cars than even Pebble, because the idea is that they're special cars actually being driven. They're not just on display. They're not just a trailer
it's not
queen.
Just a show car.
No, it's an actual car.
Like these car look like show cars, but they're all
driven.
Dirty with bug spots.
Yeah. And so we've gone back and forth for a long time talking about our dream of going on an event like the Colorado Grand.
Yeah.
But you got to have a special car to go. They don't just let guys like us walk in off the street with a Porsche 914. It's got to be something.
Or a Beetle.
It's got to be something truly special. And he's had lots of ideas of what we could get. So I'll let him talk about that.
Well, when we were there, we're walking around, and our thought is, okay, what could we afford here that we could take on?
I mean,
and at the time, it was nothing.
Yeah,
so the answer was easy.
It was super easy. I mean, the AC Cobra that we saw there was a $1 million car.
Oh, there were lots of $1 million cars. There were pre-war Bentleys and Packards and all kinds of cool stuff. We thought, well, maybe an Alfa Romeo.
There were a couple of those.
And then we look it up, and they're the Veloce spec, the expensive ones. We thought, oh, maybe a big Healey, an Austin Healey. Well, they're 100 M's and S's and stuff, aluminum bodied,
special,
super rare, expensive.
Race cars.
And then in the corner, when we were walking around, back behind the Porsche 356s, we saw, we're pretty sure we saw 3. Now we can't find photos. We can only find photos of 1, so maybe it didn't actually happen. But we swear there were 3 Daimler SP250s. And if you don't know what those are, it was a fiberglass bodied sports car that Daimler made, the company that made all the luxury cars. It's the UK's oldest car company, or was.
Yep.
So they wanted to get into the sports car action. They saw MG and Triumph making a bunch of money. So they thought, let's see what we can put together. And they did a fiberglass body on a frame that was similar to a Triumph, to
it's a
TR3.
Different,
it's a little different. But they put a V8 engine in it. V8, it had alloy heads. It was a Hemi head engine. Only 2.5 liters.
But when you pop the hood, outside of the carburetors, the way the valve covers are and the spark plugs go in, just like a Chrysler Hemi, right? So when you see it, you kind of, not knowing what it is, you kind of like, whoa, what is happening? Did someone, stuff a Hemi in this weird little fiberglass car? And then, of course, you do your research, you find out, no, Daimler built those. That was their engine. It had all of 140 horsepower or something like that stock. It wasn't.
Yeah, it wasn't 120. Was it 120 and 140 foot-pounds of torque?
Somewhere around there. So I mean, it wasn't crazy, but comparative to a TR3, right? Yeah. That's a lot of power.
It weighed about what a TR3 does. So
we've gone back and forth. What would be cool to get to take to the Colorado Grand? Obviously, that is if we can find a car we can get in with, and we've talked about Heelys
and afford the entry fee.
Yeah, and afford the entry fee. We've talked about the big Heelys, and just recently we were talking about it. And
but you can't talk about things for 10 years and not try to do something.
And not eventually do it.
You got to try to do it.
And so, kind of out of the blue, Jesse's like, "What if we got a Daimler SP250?" And it was like, well, I've always thought they're cool. Since I learned about what they are, I thought they were sweet. I mean, people kind of trash on them. They call them bottom feeders and things like that because they look goofy. But
no, catfish. They're not a bottom feeder.
But I mean, you know what I mean, though. The look is kind of.
They only made 2,600, and we only got 1,200. So actually, they're pretty rare to find.
They're super rare to find. So we started talking about it, and I said, let's do it. Let's find a Daimler. So Jesse started hunting. He did what he does. And he started hunting, and he actually found. First, he found a nice one.
No, I found.
You found a
this,
few.
This has only been a couple weeks.
Yeah, it's a couple weeks.
So we found probably 6.
So you found a really nice white example, but had some questionable restoration stuff.
Price is too high.
Price too high. Then you found a red one, and that one was a restoration project, but was kind of a runner. It was a driver, but lots of questionable things with it. And then you found
the worst.
The worst of the worst. It's literally
$1,000 project.
A heap. Really, if we're being honest here.
It showed up on the Daimler Club website, and I don't know. We will see. Yes. I don't know if we want to do this.
So Jesse texts me about it. Right, it's in the evening. He sends me photos, and I was like, I don't know. This looks like a mess. It is a mess. But then we started talking about it, and it was like, these cars are special, right? So we had a Berkeley SE 328, right? Little tiny front engine, front wheel drive, motorcycle engine. Really, really cool. Very, very special. I barely fit in it. I'm quite a bit shorter than Jess. He didn't fit in it at all.
My foot was sideways, on the gas pedal. It was bad.
And I was like, we really liked that car. It was a cool looking car.
Fiberglass body.
Almost no part support. Right,
so we're like, let's do that again.
Yeah, so
fiberglass body, parts support, weird engine.
Yeah, it's real odd type thing. But I was like, you know what? If it's semi-solid, semi-complete, I think we should do it. And we went back and forth so the seller.
A week.
Yeah, it was a week because the seller's like, I can't go look at it to even send you more photos until the end of the week. So we talked about it back and forth. We talked ourselves out of it. We talked ourselves back into it, back out, back in.
I'm still
and then
still on the fence.
Today, Jesse gets a phone call from the seller. And he's like, I got people that want it, but you were the first one to contact me, so I want to give you first dibs. And so then he sent over some more photos.
Yeah, let's look at 2 of the
photos. I'll go ahead and bring those up here. Let me enlarge this a little bit here so you can
put it right over our faces.
Yeah, it's probably here. Let me. Yeah, there we go. I can block us.
Okay, so you can see there is no paint.
It is
fiberglass, though. There's some damage there on the fender, and the windshield's missing. So there are some boxes of parts in the trunk and inside the interior. It's a rough rig. Can you show the front?
Yeah, I can bring the front photo up here. Let me turn that other one off.
There we go.
Quick. There's that classic face that everyone talks about.
Catfish.
Yeah.
So it's been sitting on this trailer for 6 years. Before that, who knows how long it's sat. Someone must have wanted to restore it and sanded all the paint off. That because that's the first thing you do when you get a car is you sand on it.
Especially a find like that's super special.
Don't do that, guys. If you get a car,
you gotta sand
get it running and fix the brakes. Don't sand it. Just leave
please
it.
Don't. Please
just
don't.
Leave the paint.
It makes my life so much harder if you take the paint off.
Unless you have $10,000 to spend. don't sand it.
Get it running first.
People take everything apart and start sanding. And then the cars just sit, and this is how they end up 10 years later.
Yeah.
So let's not do that.
But so we kind of talked about it here a little bit today, and we were kind of like, I don't know. The guy said some things that were kind of confusing. So he told Jess there is rot in the frame, which is not uncommon on these, but that it's behind the axle, which from what we've studied, that's actually super common in these. It's got to be fixed, but it's not end of the world.
We think this is he says it's a 64, so that would be the end of production, and that would benefit from all the frame reinforcements that Daimler did. Well, actually, Jaguar took over the company. They bought it in like 1960, I think.
Yeah.
And they started making improvements to these cars. So we think it's going to benefit from those improvements on the chassis and a thicker fiberglass body.
Mm-hmm.
So, fingers crossed. This is such a long distance deal. This car's in Florida. So, but he only wants $1,000. So we think we're going to take the gamble and see what we get. And then we'll know for sure if it's something we can take on. I mean, worst case scenario, there's lots of good parts someone could use for another Daimler, but these are so rare and special, and it has a title. It makes me want to save it.
Yeah, I mean, I really want to save this one. I want to take it on.
It's just to find a windshield. It's gonna be tough.
That's one thing. I've already put feelers out. Is the windshield frame? So the glass is still available. We can get glass.
Well, we think if anyone out there has one of these and knows where to get stuff or has parts, please let us know.
I'd love to know where we can get a windshield frame, because I think that's going to be one of the hardest parts. Now, so the seller told Jess that the flywheel is seized to the clutch, right? So when he pushes the car back and forth, the engine turns over.
The whole thing turns. I don't know.
I mean, that could either be good or bad. It's kind of...
Well, hopefully the engine isn't seized. Well, my first thought was maybe the brakes are seized and the engine.
Mm-hmm.
But these did have four-wheel disc brakes.
Yeah.
That was another cool feature.
Super high tech for their
In 59,
time.
There weren't a lot of cars even with disc brakes that have four-wheel.
I think
pretty cool.
We need to talk a little bit about kind of the race history of the SP250 here in the States. So I'm sure all of you know about Black & Decker, right? You've all heard of the tools. You may not have heard about Black & Decker's son. Gosh, what was his first name?
I don't know. Can you take that picture off?
Yeah, I can pull that photo off.
There we go.
But Black & Decker's son actually bought a Daimler SP250 and raced it a ton.
Yeah, he won his class. I don't know what year it was, 1959, 1960, somewhere
around there.
He won and beat everybody so bad that they moved him up like 2 classes, and he still won. Mm-hmm. Yeah, we watched some video footage.
Some old footage.
Man, yeah, he destroyed everybody.
I mean, it was taken on Porsche 356 Speedsters, TR3s, no problem.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it was impressive to see that car in action, and I think for me, that was the moment, like, we have to get one of these. Like, we have to have one. And
well, they're so ugly that they're pretty.
Yeah, it's a weird...
I think we like weird cars. We want something that's going to be unique and stand out. And, if you got a Healy or something and showed up, everybody else has one too. So
exactly.
It's kind of neat to have something no one else
I think it's also... I mean, Daimler was a huge company, right? Like, one of Britain's largest car manufacturers in its day. But these cars were underdogs, right? Daimler wasn't a sports car manufacturer. They were building,
but they made nice cars, though.
They made really nice cars. But I think there's that underdog aspect, and I think we like that underdog. It kind of comes out of nowhere, and it doesn't look the best. It's not like the coolest design ever. It's cool, but it's not the coolest thing ever. But it dominates.
Yeah.
And I think, to me, that's what's so cool about it.
It's going to be faster than a lot of the cars.
Exactly. We also grew up in Wyoming, so V8s were kind of bread and butter. That's what was everywhere. I grew up loving the sounds of V8s. When you hear one of these engines running, it's incredible, right? It sounds like a big block Hemi.
Well,
I mean,
a little block.
It's Hemi. A little block Hemi, but it's got that same growl to it, and they rev out crazy high for what they are.
Yeah, they have a low center of gravity with the alloy heads and the fiberglass body. So, I mean, on paper, it sounds great.
We'll see.
We'll see if we fit, and we see if it's fun to drive.
Well, first
this one might be a mess.
First, we'll see if we can fix it. Yeah. Right?
That's the frame Swiss cheese. I don't know. Yeah. I was hoping they were TR3 frames so we could just get one and drop under it.
But I was hoping they were, because we've got a TR4 sitting over there that's got a more or less brand new chassis under it, and would already have rack and pinion.
You can find frames. But, So we'll see if it's totally trash. It might not be worth fixing, but fingers crossed. It's a good one.
Yeah, hopefully. I'm excited.
Hopefully.
We got to get it shipped across the country, so that'll be interesting.
Yeah, so we'll see if we get it here. If you guys have any tips for us, if you've had one or
if you have leads on parts.
Yeah, maybe you have one you want to sell that we should buy instead.
Yeah, we'd love to hear from you. Or if you have advice on what not to do.
What kind of cars not to buy. We always tell ourselves we're going to stop buying like unfinished projects. Because it's the worst idea. You don't want to buy someone else's project, but it's so tempting sometimes, right?
What did we do? We've had lots of we've had TR3s and we had the Volvo 1800s that were literally piled into a car. The whole car was torn apart, put into it. This we're not even getting that. There's nothing to pile in it. It's probably missing everything, which will be even worse.
Hopefully everything's thrown in boxes.
Hopefully, I'm a little nervous about that, but I think it's going to be a sweet one.
Wish us luck, But let us know if you guys have any suggestions for the video podcast and things we could do. Maybe we'll talk more about what we're working on back here.
Yeah, I think that would be fun. Also, we're doing a run on T-shirts right now. I guess I should have put a Barn Finds T-shirt on.
Yeah,
we're wearing a Mustang
promoting
shirt.
Mustang.
Promoting Ford today. Oh well. We got a run of T-shirts going right now. We're also working on getting some caps, sort of like this one, made. That'll have the Barn Finds logo up there.
Maybe a little smaller logo.
Yeah, it'll be a little smaller than this. It's kind of big, but this was just a trial run. So we'll be trying to get some hats here soon. So if you'd love to have a T-shirt, help support the site, what we're doing here with our projects, be sure to check out the site and grab a shirt.
Check out the site, sign up for the email. Be sure to subscribe to YouTube, your podcast that you listen to.
There should be a link right down there somewhere. I'll add it so that you can subscribe to the channel.
Hey, thanks.
Thanks, guys.
Happy hunting.
Start recording. Whenever you're ready, you can go ahead and start. It's recording, so.
Oh, man.
Yeah. That's why I'm wearing a hat.
Bloopers.
Yeah, seriously. All right. Do you want me to give you a countdown? Are you ready to go?
Crop this or what?
Crop it? What do you mean crop it?
Cut it out.
Okay. Yeah, I'll just edit it out. It'll take a sec to do. All right.
Do a countdown.
3, 2, 1, go.